Good evening and welcome to our November 7th council meeting. If you'd please stand, Councilman George is going to lead us in the flag salute.
Please join us in saluting the flag of our country. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman George. I'd like to call up our police captain, Wes Simmons. He's going to receive the proclamation for Law Enforcement Records and Support Personnel Day. Wes, would you, yes, please call up.
So we have three of our records technicians here tonight representing our Records Bureau. We'll start over here, Kelly Whitty, Amanda Felix, and Rebecca Weber. And we also have our professional services manager, their boss, Chris Corbin, is right there. There we go.
Have him come up.
Come on up, Chris.
No. No choice, you have to come up. Everybody gets to share.
Yep.
Okay, and our proclamation reads, whereas law enforcement agencies throughout the state depend on law enforcement records and support personnel to provide them with vital services. Law enforcement records and support personnel are crucial to helping law enforcement agencies identify, pursue, capture, and process suspected lawbreakers. These professionals continually use their expertise and experience to assist in tracking felons, maintaining criminal statistics, and improving apprehension strategies. It's important to recognize California's law enforcement records and support personnel for their valuable contributions to our law enforcement system. The State Executive Board of California Law Enforcement Association of Records Supervisors has designated November 7th, 2017 as Law Enforcement Records and Support Personnel Day. Now, therefore, I, Eunice M. Ulloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, in honor of records and support personnel of the Chino Police Department, do hereby recognize today, Tuesday, November 7th, 2017, as Law Enforcement Records and Support Personnel Day. Wes, would you like to explain what the ladies do?
Absolutely. So our records technicians process over 1,000 reports every month, 300 arrest reports. They're also the face and the voice of the Chino Police Department. So you come into the counter and you need to contact us, you're going to contact one of these ladies here. Or if you call on the phone, you're often going to get one of them on the phone. So they really represent us in the community and to our personnel and do a phenomenal job with the amount of work that they do every day.
I agree, and their support has been very instrumental in solving many, many crimes. So we owe you a big debt of gratitude. Thank you so much for your services. And there's the proclamation.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Mayor.
Wes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Good job, Kristen. Okay, next, I would like to call up Alex Cisneros, our Community Services Coordinator, Amy Avila, Crime Prevention Specialist with the Chino Police Department, and Jenny Mott, Nurse and Tobacco Use Prevention Education Grant Coordinator with the Chino Valley Unified School District. Okay, you guys and your long titles. And we have a proclamation for the Great American Smokeout Day. Yes, we do. Whereas November 16th, 2017 marks the 42nd anniversary of the American Cancer Society's Great American Smokeout, a campaign designed to encourage tobacco users to quit on or before that day. The City of Chino, in conjunction with the community partners such as the Chino Valley Unified School District, Chino Police Department, and Chino Experience Teen Center, provides programs that encourage young people to quit smoking or not to start at all by promoting a healthy lifestyle and educating youth on the effects of smoking. Whereas tobacco use is responsible for nearly 1 in 5 early deaths in the United States, which remains the single largest preventable cause of disease and premature death in the U.S., yet more than 36 million adults and 4 million middle and high school students continue to smoke cigarettes. And whereas each day nearly 3,200 young people under the age of 18 try their first cigarette and another 700 become regular daily smokers. Overall, cigarette smoking rates have dropped. Cigar, pipe, hookah, and other dangerous and additive ways to smoke tobacco, including e-cigarettes, are on the rise. And whereas the City of Chino urges all tobacco users to demonstrate to themselves and their loved ones that they can quit on or before the Great American Smokeout. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Emilio, a mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim Thursday, November 16th, 2017, as the Great American Smokeout Day in the City of Chino, and in doing so, support the American Cancer Society's mission to help create a world with less cancer and more birthdays due to less people smoking. I'd like to present you with this proclamation.
Thank you.
Say a few words.
Okay. Hello, my name is Alex Cisneros. I'm the Community Services Coordinator overseeing the teen programs and the Teen Center. I would like to invite everybody to come out on the 16th for the Great American Smokeout. It'll be held from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And I want to invite you all to join our teens as they pledge to live drug-free.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. On behalf of the Chino Police Department, we wanted to thank you all for your continued support in our education and prevention measures for the police department. And as tobacco prevention is something that we are very passionate about, we wanted to thank all of the Chino Valley Unified School District and the community members for their continued support. Thank you.
Well, it was suggested tonight that I bring a visual aid. Well, as a registered nurse and a credentialed teacher, I was like, yes! So what we have here is an example of one of the things that we have our students use during their advocacy days. So we'll have a Great American Smokeout. Part of it will be with Alex's program at the Teen Center. So this is one of the audio visuals they use. And what this is a representation of 1 year's worth of tar buildup in the lungs of a person who is smoking a half a pack of cigarettes a day. So half a pack of cigarettes over the course of the year, that much tar in your lungs. So when you see that person that you know that smokes coughing, you can just imagine it's their body trying to get rid of this because it doesn't want it. So I challenge all of you to pledge to remain smoke-free or to quit smoking or at least decrease smoking as much as you can because it will decrease the tar. So thank you. Oh, sorry.
That's disgusting. The other interesting thing is not only does it cause cancer, is it causes a lot of heart disease problems too. So please, everyone, encourage your loved ones to stop smoking or don't ever start. So thank you for being here this evening. Thank you. Okay, next I'd like to call up Rick Finch. This is for the Mayor's Home Beautification Award. Hi, Rick. Rick lives at 4400 Philadelphia Street, number 41. And this certificate is to thank you for your continued improvement and maintenance of your home, resulting in a substantial contribution to the overall appearance of the community. I'd like to present you with that. And Supervisor Kurt Hagman also has a certificate of recognition for you. We have, if the TV can pick it up, we have a beautiful picture of your home, very, very well maintained, very neat, and I'm sure your neighbors around you appreciate it. We have a pen for you, and a pin, and the coveted sign that you can put in your yard, if your homeowners association will allow it.
Sure they will.
Would you like to say a few words?
Not really.
Not really?
Just thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Who does all your maintenance?
I do.
You do, personally. Well, thank you very much for maintaining your home.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I'd like to ask our attorney to report out of closed session this evening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council and audience. The city council met in closed session on the only item on the closed session agenda, namely conference with legal counsel, existing litigation under the case named Chino Basin Municipal Water District versus City of Chino and additional parties. With the presence of Attorney Jimmy Gutierrez, the City Council received an update to that matter, and no further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report out of closed session, Madam
Thank
Mayor.
you, Fred. Next item on our agenda is public communication. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on issues that are not elsewhere on the agenda. Our first request to speak is Mr. Robert Lewis of Mount Zion Church of Ontario. At this time, I'd like to invite any of you who would like to join us in a prayer to please stand. Is he here? Mr. Lewis? Oh, apparently he didn't make it. Matt, would you like to lead us this evening?
Thank you for this opportunity to reside and work in the city of Chino. We ask for a special blessing upon our council as they gather information and make decisions, and we thank you for the public and their participation. We ask that you continue to bless Chino, and I say these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Matt. Apparently Mr. Lewis is ill. Hopefully he's okay. Okay, I have one written request to speak, and that's Mr. Larry Dauma.
Okay, what you have before you is a notice that the city sent out about a meeting with the developer of the Chino Francis Estates. This is a good example of what was brought up last week at the workshop about misinformation being handed out by the developers. It states that the lot sizes range from 8,000 to 16,000 square feet. In reality, there's 43 lots. 28 are 8,000, 14 are 10,000, 1 is 16,000 square feet. That should be on the flyer that what the lot sizes actually are. It also states the average units per acre is 3.22. When I went to school, and it's only been a year or two since I graduated, but an acre was 4,560 feet. When the lot sizes are less than a quarter, how can he say that they're a third of an acre? Also, we only got 6 days' notice for this meeting. I think it should be fair that we should be given at least 2 weeks' notice of this meeting coming up. And also, the area that they send a notice to should be greatly expanded. My backyard butts up to this development, and originally the people that actually live across the street from me aren't in the mailing list because they're more than 300 feet away. It should be expanded to 1,000 feet so that more than 20 people know about the meeting. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Dauma. We actually can't address this particular development. However, I would like to ask for information on legal requirements for notices and if there is a time frame.
It's not particularly this development. It's what most of the developers do.
I understand, Mr. Dauma.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The general requirements for noticing are that they be provided for any public hearing that is to be considered before either your planning commission or the city council. They be provided at least 10 days before the scheduled meeting. The property owners surrounding the particular use within 300 feet, all of those properties are subject to the noticing requirements. Some cities expand that by ordinance, but I believe it in some cases 500 feet. So that's generally the requirement. They have to be accurate, obviously, the notices of the particular action to be taken by the city. Now, if a private developer issues a notice that the city doesn't issue and has control over, that's a private issue.
I think it's also important to note that this is a neighborhood meeting that's being hosted tomorrow in these council chambers, so anybody who wants to participate, they certainly can attend. I believe it starts, it's noted in there, at 6 o'clock. But that's not going to be heard before a body, so it's not going before the planning commission or the city council, and so that's the significant difference. This is just a neighborhood meeting in which information is going to be presented. There will be a following meeting before the planning commission, and then there'll be a subsequent meeting before the council if it goes that far.
Okay, so this is a neighborhood meeting, so it doesn't necessarily fall under the requirements of a 10-day notice or 300 feet?
It's not a Brown Act meeting.
So if it's not a city meeting, all of those requirements I mentioned are not applicable. As I mentioned, if it's a privately issued notice, it's just a private matter.
But this does say City of Chino Community Development Department.
Correct, that's being hosted here in the council chambers, and our staff will be present.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, that's the only written request that I have to speak. We have a tradition here. Well, before I do that, is there anyone else in the council chambers that would like to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda? Yes, sir. You didn't fill out a request to speak.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My apologies again for being tardy. I just wanted to invite you all briefly to join us next week on behalf of the Chino Valley Unified School District for their State of the District address. That will be Tuesday afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m. The Chamber's partnering to help them put it on for the first time in several years, so it's going to be well worth joining us, and I'm looking forward to it.
And anyone that is interested in attending should contact the chamber?
Yes, tickets are
At
available
what
through the
phone
chamber
number?
or at the door, 909-627-6177.
Okay, and where will this physically be held?
It will be at Chino Hills High School.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Okay, now, our tradition is any students that are in the audience are asked to come up, give us your name, school you attend, class you're taking, and the teacher that you're here for. So line up and give us your name. It's your chance to be on TV, and it's your public record that you can prove to your teacher you were really here for your class assignment. Okay.
My name is Gabriel Palavecino. I'm here for U.S. government, and my teacher is Mr. Pope,
School?
Don Lugo High School.
Okay, thank you.
My name's Ethan Ramirez. I go to Don Lugo High School. I am also here for government, and I'm from Mr. Pope as well.
Thank you.
My name is Lilybeth Hernandez. My teacher is Mr. Reyes, so I'm here for econ, and my school is on Don Lugo High School.
Thank you.
My name is Brian Kreitz. I'm here from Don Lugo High School. I'm taking U.S. government, and I have Mr. Pope.
Okay.
My name is Trinity Grow. I am also taking U.S. government at Don Lugo with Mr. Pope.
My name is Isaiah Frausto. I'm from Don Lugo High School. I'm here for economics class, and my teacher is Mr. Beloso.
Thank you.
My name is Angel Science, and I'm going to Don Lugo. I'm taking this class for econ, and my teacher is Mr. Beloso.
Hi, my name is Alexis Padilla. I'm taking this for econ, and my teacher is also Mr. Beloso from Don Lugo.
My name is Layla Rodriguez. I go to Don Lugo. I take econ with Mr. Beloso.
Hello, my name is Isabella Mesa. I'm also from Don Lugo. I'm here for my econ class, and my teacher's name is Mr. Belioso.
Hi, my name is Marvin Chavez. I'm from Don Lugo High School. I came from econ class and for Mr. B.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Montoya. I'm from Don Lugo. I'm taking an econ class, and my teacher is Mr. Beloso.
Hi, my name is Sierra Rizzo. I go to Don Lugo. This is for my government class, and my teacher is Mr. Pope.
Hi, my name is Regina Anderson. I go to Don Lugo. This is for econ, and my teacher is Mr. Beloso.
Hi, my name is Angie Ayala. This is for my econ class, and my teacher is Mr. Beloso.
Hello, my name is Mahir. I go to Cal Poly Pomona, and I'm here for my public administrations class.
Terrific. One Cal Poly.
A renegade.
A renegade. Thank you all for being here this evening, and thank you very much for coming before the end of the school year. Usually we're flooded in June. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. Mr. Elrod was absent for the minutes, or for the meeting on October 17th, so that will be pulled for separate action. Any other items that wish to be pulled?
We also requested that item number 16 be pulled and returned to staff. Continue the
Item
matter.
number 16 is pulled and returned to staff. Any other items that wish to be pulled? Okay, then a motion on the balance of the consent calendar is needed. Okay, there's a motion from Councilman Elrod, second from Councilman George. And the balance of the consent calendar passes unanimously. Item number 2, as I stated, are the minutes from the October 17th meeting. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, second from Councilman George. Please vote. And the item passes 1 yes, 1 abstention, that being Mr. Elrod. Next item on the agenda is under new business. Item number 18, ordinance to prohibit commercial marijuana activities and to establish regulations for cultivation. Our staff report this evening will be provided by our city attorney, Fred Galante.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council and audience. What we have before the City Council is consideration for first reading of an ordinance to regulate marijuana uses of various types. So a little background is in October 2015, the state legislature adopted what is called the Medical Cannabis Regulation and Safety Act, MCRSA, to establish a statewide regulatory system for licensing and operation of commercial medical marijuana uses. The MCRSA, as it's described, it allows cities to prohibit all types of medical marijuana uses. At the November 8th election last year, as we know, the voters approved Proposition 64, that is known as the Control, Regulate, and Tax Adult Use of Marijuana Act, which expressly authorizes the personal cultivation of marijuana. And as I mentioned, it's for personal use that it authorizes. It also authorizes commercial sales and use of marijuana products. The particular regulations authorize up to 6 marijuana plants for personal use, and cities cannot prohibit indoor cultivation of marijuana for up to 6 plants. Cities are authorized under the regulations to prohibit all outdoor cultivation, whether personal or commercial uses. More recently, the state legislature adopted SB 94, which essentially merged the regulations for both medical marijuana and recreational marijuana uses, so there'd be consistent state regulations. Essentially, what we have is the state has put out a statewide regulatory system for the licensing and operation of commercial marijuana uses as well as medical marijuana uses. And the way that regulation reads is that anyone wishing to establish a commercial business, marijuana, medical or recreational, has to secure a license from the state, but also has to assure and secure a license from the various jurisdictions. So they have to assure that the local jurisdiction authorizes the particular use, in which case the state will issue its particular licenses. Under the regulations, the cities are authorized to completely ban all commercial uses, again, whether for medical purposes or commercial purposes. So with that background of the regulatory structure in mind, the proposed ordinance that you have before you, it maintains your prior ordinance that prohibited all commercial medical marijuana uses and extends those to the recreational type. And also recognizing that the state preempts any prohibition on indoor personal cultivation. It keeps that intact, but it does place some controls on indoor cultivation. I'll describe those. It completely prohibits outdoor cultivation. And we've, based on the various studies that have been done and concerns we've heard from various police departments, it's really outdoor cultivation and, just the presence of sometimes visible marijuana plants that can grow quite large is a concern from both safety and enforcement issues. So as with other cities, the proposal here is to prohibit all those activities of outdoor cultivation. The indoor regulations essentially try to tighten up and assure that any indoor activities don't create a negative impact on surrounding uses. So for example, the ordinance you have before you state that the 6 plants that are authorized per dwelling unit must be grown entirely within a private residence or a fully enclosed accessory structure to a private residence and may not be visible from neighboring properties. The odors must be controlled so that they don't emanate out of the property into neighboring property or the public right-of-way. Marijuana plants and marijuana grown from the plants in excess of 28.5 grams must be locked in a space that is secured on the property. Any lighting used has to comply with the current standards. Certainly if permits are required, that has to be complied with your permitting department. Any owner or an operator, a tenant, must secure the consent of the property owner to control. Actually, there's a typo in the staff report that it says a tenant must have the landlord and or property owner control. That should say consent, and the ordinance actually says the word consent. It's just got mistyped in the staff report. To cultivate marijuana within the residence. And it also sets forth penalties for any violations of the particular ordinance. So with that, this ordinance is exempt from the requirements of CEQA because it does not have a likelihood to create an environmental impact. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. The ordinance does have a lot of details. In essence, it continues to prohibit all commercial uses. That includes both dispensaries, cultivation, so no one could establish, if approved by the council, no one could establish any growing operations, any dispensaries, deliveries. So deliveries cannot originate or end anywhere in the city, and outdoor cultivation is prohibited. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Councilman Howie.
Yeah, just a quick question. I assume that many other cities are putting legislation like this. Is that correct?
Yes, there's kind of a spectrum of regulations. Some cities have outright authorized all type of activities, and the theory has been, as I understand it, that the voters voted for it, so why prohibit it? That's one end of the spectrum. I will say that's a very slim number of cities that do that. On the other side of the spectrum, and you're close to that, is you can prohibit everything and even require people to secure permits to have the personal cultivation. And so long as those permits do not create burdensome requirements, they're generally fine. Chino's, or the proposed ordinance for Chino would be to authorize it without the requirement for people to come in and secure permits, so long as they meet all those criteria I mentioned. So you're pretty close to the tightest regulation on the spectrum I described. And there's some cities that allow some dispensaries or just cultivation, so long as it's in a nondescript kind of warehouse-looking building without any advertisings, et cetera, and mobile the deliveries are in trucks that are not identified as marijuana-related uses, and they've either taxed them through a general tax they've secured from their voters, or they've imposed other type of fees, whether through the permit, the normal fee act, which allows a city to recover the actual costs of providing the service, or actually authorized higher fees through development agreements, so negotiated fees. There's kind of a spectrum of the revenues that cities have tackled.
But the cities of Pomona, Laverne, Fontana, all those cities have adopted similar ordinances.
Councilman George?
Just, federal law trumps everything, right? And we're following federal law.
That's a very good question, because federal law, read in its strictest form, would prohibit even the indoor personal cultivation. So you are following the law as virtually as strict as California authorizes you to impose. So you've imposed the most rigid, virtually the most rigid requirements that California imposes. As I mentioned, some cities require a permit for personal cultivation, but barring that, you have the most rigid. Now, the federal government has taken an approach of not necessarily enforcing it. I know our current Attorney General has sent different messages on that point, but since you don't permit any commercial uses, I don't see the Chino's ordinance ever coming in conflict with federal law.
Thank you.
Councilman Rodriguez?
No question.
No? Every once in a while in the news, you hear of a home that's been kind of taken over by somebody who is hijacking electricity and the whole house is full of marijuana plants. That would obviously not be in compliance with our ordinance, right?
And the reasons why, yes, you're absolutely correct, Mayor. The reasons why it would not be in compliance with your ordinance, and we've addressed that particular point because we have heard those similar stories, is that a person that decides to have personal cultivation indoors cannot do it in a home that does not have a kitchen, bathrooms. So the ordinance itself has a list of particular restrictions so that a home is not converted to an actual commercial cultivation use. And as I scroll through it, I'm not finding that particular provision, but I will.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah, so essentially you can't rip out a kitchen. You also have to have the required parking, so you can't just have your garage converted to a growing operation, et cetera. It has to have the amenities of a home. And at the end of the day, you can still restrict the growing operations to no more than 6 plants. So those are the various.
In a practical sense, we're obviously not going to have marijuana police that go around and visit every home. So I would assume if someone is in violation of the law, the city will find. Oh, good heavens! Oh, it's so hard to be serious sometimes up here. So I would assume that a neighbor who notices suspicious activity or whatever. Obviously would be calling into the city, and then the city would follow up with an investigation, correct?
That's correct. I think typically, as with other cities, your code enforcement process is complaint-driven. So as with any other code violations, when the city receives a complaint, your code enforcement officers will dispatch to the location and investigate. At times, to gain access to the home, I'm usually asked, I know you have a separate prosecutor here with Silver and Wright, to secure an inspection warrant from the court, and so that adds another layer of protection, but authorizes through a court order the city inspector to enter into the home and verify that it is in compliance with these regulations.
Okay.
And some of those complaints can occur because odors are emanating from the home, or activities that don't appear like a normal, living quarters type of activities.
Right. Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this issue? Okay, seeing none, then prior to reading the ordinance, we will need a motion and a second. There's a motion from Councilman George and second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Prior to our vote, I need Fred to read the ordinance, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The ordinance before the council is ordinance number 2017-012, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, County of San Bernardino, California, to regulate personal marijuana cultivation by adding Chapter 8.90, personal marijuana cultivation to Title 8, Health and Safety of the Chino Municipal Code, to prohibit all commercial marijuana activities by adding Chapter 5.65, Marijuana Uses and Activities Prohibited, to Title 5, Business Licenses and Regulations of the Chino Municipal Code, to eliminate redundancy by deleting Chapter 10.70, Mobile Marijuana Dispensaries from Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic of the Chino Municipal Code, and finding an exemption from CEQA. And the council will be conducting the first reading and waiving further reading of the ordinance. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. Council voted, and the item passed unanimously, 5-0. Next item on the agenda is mayor and council reports. Okay, if you have any household hazardous waste you need to get rid of, be sure to mark your calendars for the household hazardous waste drop-off happening this Saturday at the Public Works Service Center located at 5050 Schaefer Avenue from 8 to 1. In our effort to help our environment and protect our residents, the city's Household Hazardous Waste Program offers a safe and convenient disposal for common household products containing chemicals. These chemicals can pollute our air, property, and drinking water, as well as potentially harm children, pets, and local wildlife. Please note that business waste will not be accepted. Some of the items that you could drop off may include electronic waste, household-generated motor oil and oil filters, antifreeze and gasoline, and auto and household batteries. For more information, please call 909-334-3472. Also, for all of our parents, please make note that our 2017 fall camp begins on November 20th and ends November 24th, with camp not occurring on Thursday, November 23rd. At the Monte Vista Park from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. This will afford every family a great opportunity to provide our youth a fun and safe environment through the Thanksgiving break. Weekly and daily cost will range dependent upon if a family resides in Chino. For further information on cost or program details, please call 909-334-3258. And lastly, in observation of Veterans Day, City Hall will be closed this upcoming Friday, November 10th. City Hall will reopen on Monday, November 13th at its regular operating hours of 7:30 to 5:30. And then, trying to keep my report as brief as possible, since the last council meeting on October 18th, I attended the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, which is held at Denny's at 7 o'clock every third Wednesday. Met with Angie Andrews regarding human trafficking. Met with Corey Case, a Mount SAC student on their trustee board interested in politics. On Thursday, October 19th, I attended the Appropriate Pool Confidential Session, Water Master Advisory Committee meeting, and then left at noon, returned on noon on Friday, for the up to Lake Arrowhead for the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Council of Governments workshop to discuss transportation issues and the future of the Council of Governments. Thursday, the 26th, I attended Water Master Ground Level Monitoring Committee meeting, which was regarding the Chino groundwater basin water levels and projections regarding water in storage, future safe yield calculations, and possibilities of subsidence. Also attended the Water Master Board of Directors meeting, and that evening attended the Southern California Water Committee Board of Directors meeting and annual dinner, where Secretary John Laird spoke about the California water fix and how critical water is to our entire state. On Friday the 26th, I spoke to a realtors group that meets at the Chino Commercial Bank about city issues. That evening, attended Dave King's memorial service. There were hundreds in attendance. It was just amazing. One of the gentlemen that spoke said that Dave had vision issues, and his vision issues were with his eyesight, and that is that he saw no difference in people. He saw everyone as equal, no matter what their beliefs were or racial issues or where they lived or anything. Dave just saw everyone as a child of God. He's a very humble man, and we in the city of Chino lost a very, very special person. Saturday the 28th, I attended his service, which was actually held at St. Margaret's. They had a full mass for Dave. He wasn't Catholic, he was a Christian minister, but he appealed to all people of all religions, no matter what they were. And again, the whole building was just packed. It was amazing to see the impact that man had on people's lives. His mission in life was to serve those that were unfortunate, and he did a fabulous job of that. Monday the 30th, I attended the special council workshop on Measure M and the future of our sphere of influence, and Matt Ballantyne will provide a report on that. I'm very, very hopeful that we will have a lot of citizen input on that, and the council will be fully engaged in our future. Then on Wednesday, November 1st, I attended the Omnitrans Board of Directors meeting, San Bernardino West Valley Caucus, and San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Board of Directors. On Thursday the 2nd, I attended Water Master Storage Workshop number 4, and the IEUA Sewage Policy Committee meeting. So exciting. Earl used to attend that.
Yeah, I miss it.
You miss it, huh? And then Saturday the 4th, Sparky and I attended the Bark Around Ayala Park event. And I would like to wish Councilman Earl Elrod and Mayor Pro Tem Tom Howie happy birthday. It's their birthdays this month. And that's all I have this evening, which is quite a bit. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Thank you, Eunice. Wow, you've been pretty busy, haven't you?
You know, and I'm retired, right? I thought I'd have all this time. I have to schedule open time.
Everybody thinks the mayor's a cushy job, you know. So,
Yeah, and you have nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do, right? Anyway, I attended a number of meetings in the last few weeks. The Chino Desalter Authority, I say CDA, but of course, if I don't say it's the Chino Desalter Authority, a lot of people don't know what that is. It was a finance meeting and a regular board meeting that was on the 19th and the 2nd. YMCA board meeting I attended on October 26th, and we also, a number of us attended the Chaffey College Annual State Luncheon on the 24th. I had also attended coffee with Supervisor Hagman on the 21st, and also the Water Facilities Authority meeting on November 2nd. Also, I'd like to mention something about the students here tonight. You know, we have hundreds of students coming every year, and I thought all of you guys were coming for government. But now I've noticed a bunch of you are coming for economics. So apparently we're going to have to come up with more numbers for the econ people here, because we didn't have a lot of numbers here tonight for. And so are the students here? There's a number of them who are on econ. Are you guys seniors? Just raise your hand if you're seniors. Okay.
Oh.
So do you get credit for your government class when you come for economics also? That's another question I was wondering, because you don't have to show up twice, right? What?
Have to show up twice.
You have to show up twice. Okay, well, lucky. Well, you picked a good night to come, because this is a pretty short meeting for us. So that was a good move on your part, coming tonight to our meeting. So that's going to do it. That's all I've got. And congratulations to Don Lugo, 8-2 this season in football. Good luck in the playoffs. All right, way to go, guys. Okay.
Councilmember Elrod.
Yes, Madam Mayor. I had the opportunity, Saturday night to attend our ex-mayor Fred Aguirre's 50th wedding anniversary.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, and that was a lot of old faces, but I saw the old dairymen and stuff like that. It was pretty neat.
50th anniversary.
50th anniversary.
And they still look the same.
No, well, Fred does, you know.
Oh, so does Patty.
Patty looks good. Patty looks good.
In trouble.
You know,
maybe their TV's out tonight.
You know, it takes a lot of dye for Fred to look like he does.
Oh, well, I'm not going to comment on that.
And then Michelle Vanderlinden used to be our PIO. I attended her mother's birthday. She turned 80.
Also, yeah.
And that was really a nice event, too. A lot of old Chino.
Her mom is really a sweet lady.
She's a kick. So, no, but that ends my report.
Okay. Councilmember George, you also have item number 19.
I do. From the Community Support Fund, I would implore the council to approve community support contributions for the Chino Youth Museum Bingo Bash event. in the amount of $250, and the Christmas outreach event in partnership with the Chino Neighborhood House in the amount of $500.
Okay, there's a motion from myself, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Please vote, and the item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Rest of your report?
Okay. The Chafee Chino Community Center Oversight Board meeting, I attended. The Coffee with Kurt Hagman at the Chino Police Department. The Seroptimus Bingo Bash at the Senior Center. The Chafee College report to the community and at the community center. And I would like to as a side note here, great presentation by our mayor on the video that they showed, and it was really well done. So thank you. That was a great job.
Thank you.
And then the Circle K grand reopening at the corner of Mountain and Riverside presented a certificate, along with Paul, presented a certificate to the organization for their reopening, grand reopening. And then that afternoon, the League of California Cities in Colton presentation on cannabis, very similar to what we voted on this evening. David King's service, which was outstanding. The CIM Chafee graduation, the first one at CIM from Chafee College, presented city certificates to 17 graduates from CIM.
Terrific.
And then with Paul, the IEUA tour, saw their batteries, Tesla battery, their new Tesla battery, batteries that they put in there. And then, of course, the special council meeting that evening. A lot of sparks on that. Never mind. And then with Eunice and Bark around the park, got to meet Sparky.
Got to see Sparky.
And then the Chino Youth Museum Bingo Bash last night. That's it.
That's it.
All you got?
That's all I've got.
Slow week.
I know, slow week. Councilman Rodriguez.
Okay, thank you. Once again, October was very busy for myself. On October 19th, I attended the CIW, the open house to visit the computer lab where prisoners are taught how to use coding skills. So once they get out, they'll have some type of skills that they can use. October 23rd, I attended the Planning Community Services Mission meeting, which was held at the Preserve. There they discussed many of the projects and other initiatives that are happening within the city, and also to be able to bring a meeting out to the Preserve to have them inclusively part of the process. October 26th through the 28th, I attended the USC Sole Price Public Policy Center, which held a conference on the government's role to demonstrate quality and effective leadership through key priorities such as openness, transparency, inclusiveness, and change to maintain our democratic values, as well as building capacity through a very strong strategic plan. I received a scholarship from USC to attend this event. USC also paid for the Radisson Hotel stay, which was also open to all council members throughout the state of California. October 28th, I attended the National Haiku Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities in San Diego. So it was quite a long day from SC, drove all the way to San Diego. It was open to everyone from all backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, to learn about career pathways and also to learn about financing colleges for the future. On November 1st, I was invited to attend the Alliance for Education by Director Dr. Lynn Kennedy and County Superintendent Dr. Ted Alejandra. The main focus of the participation is for cities to empower their populace towards increasing their education pathways for social economic development and equity for all people. And finally, on November 2nd, I attended Senator Connie Leva's Young Women's Conference, which focused on career and college pathways again, and on change and equity for all individuals. that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Ballantyne, you also have item number 20.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of the council. As the mayor had mentioned, on October 30th, the city hosted a workshop in which we discussed two items. One was the our sphere of influence, also known as the county unincorporated area of Chino. And then secondly, we talked about Measure M. And in summary, the council had I outlined a staff report, all the things that the council directed staff to accomplish. For the sphere of influence, we're going to be studying several things, including performing an economic analysis for our econ students. You can read on that. We're also going to take a look at our infrastructure analysis or needs up in that area, realizing we're going to be creating a range from minimal to meeting city standards. And once we conduct all this information, the council has directed staff to go out and do a survey of the residents and see, based on the information that we received, is there interest of incorporating within the city of Chino. So that's dealing with the sphere. We then moved on to Measure M, and there were several items that were raised by the public as far as possible amendments. The council has directed staff to take a look and come up with legal conclusions as to many of the questions that were asked. Some of those questions include, whether or not we can make sure that they're always held on a special election versus a general election. Cost, making sure that every time that we have one of these items that the costs are borne by the developer. Additional plans being submitted. Looking at voting by district, but we needed more clarification as it relates to required signatures. So it's those types of things that we will come back and provide council with a legal conclusion from our city attorney as to whether or not we can do those items. At this time, there wasn't any proposal to change Measure M, but that the council wanted further research. So, and then finally, in conclusion, there were things that came up out of the meeting, such as posting of our applications, all of our applications that we receive on the community for the community development department, and that we post those so people are aware of those activities. Also, the county's in the process of updating their general plan, and so we are going to monitor those efforts. And then the idea of a community plan concept was raised, and we'll do further research on that. So as we go through these items, I will provide an update to the council. Once we complete these studies, those will be presented to the council, and certainly the public will be able to participate at each of those meetings that we bring these studies back. That concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
I would request, after the information comes back, I do think we need to have another workshop, Matt, especially prior to doing the survey of the sphere of influence, because I think we need public input and council input on how to interpret the information that comes back to us, make sure that we fulfill all of the answers that we need to fulfill.
We'll absolutely have a public hearing, whether it be regular part of a regular meeting or a workshop, but we'll certainly bring it back so the public can comment, as you
I think
suggest.
the importance warrants workshop. Okay, thank you. And it's for receive and file, so we really don't need a motion in a second, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Next is our city attorney's report. Mr. Galante.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay, and I see that our chief of police isn't here this evening, but Captain Simmons is. Any other reports?
No report tonight.
Okay, and Chief Shackelford from the fire department?
No report tonight.
No report. Okay, with that then, we will adjourn to our regular meeting that will be held on November 21st at 7 o'clock in these council chambers unless closed session is needed, and that will start at 6 o'clock. With that, we are adjourned.